Hi, and welcome to another Allison+Sports podcast series, Quick Take. We are talking volleyball today, and we are very fortunate to have the legend, Brandi Chastain, with us, Olympic gold medalist, World Cup winner, and co-founder of Bay FC, the newest National Women's Soccer League team coming out of the Bay Area and kicking off on the pitch starting next season in March. And my colleague, partner in arms, Shane Arman. Hello to both of you.
Hello, the two Shanes.
So the reason we're here is because yesterday something really incredible happened. And I woke up this morning and my daily Sportico showed me this scene in Nebraska of the Nebraska women's volleyball team coming on to Cornhusker Stadium field to an unbelievable crowd, something that we've technically never witnessed before. Armin, you want to break it down?
Yeah, absolutely. So volleyball day in Nebraska, 92,000 fans filled up this stadium to watch a women's college volleyball match. And let me just tell you, there were 7 months of planning that went into this massive production. It included a concert after by country music star Scott McCreery. That video you sent me this morning, Shane, when I watched that video, I literally got chills.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just this amazing demonstration of when you put the resources and effort and energy and enthusiasm into women's sports, this can be the result. There is a demand for this. And Brandi, you and I, we've all been working together here now for a number of months, and I know you know this really well. So tell us why this is such an important moment in time right now and what this volleyball match means.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to start this out by saying volleyball was the only sport I was cut from in my life. And so I am, I wanted to be a volleyball player. So I am super excited for these players who had a chance to run out onto the court with 92,000, 93,000 people in the stands because they deserve it, number one. Number two, I think why this is significant right now is because for so long, women like myself, women like those athletes that ran out, coaching staffs like the ones that were there yesterday for this massive event, have been talking about the importance and the relevance of women's sports. And it has fallen on deaf ears for so long because it didn't apply to those people who were making decisions. And so I think there's a lot of women who are making decisions now who have an opportunity to say, hey, we want to support women in sports and we will support women in sports. But I also think that there are allies who have daughters who play sports and they say, hey, we really see the benefit of what's happening for our girls personally and why having opportunities for them to come to big stadiums and see women that look like them participate in sports. And then on top of all of that goodness, that's like the ice cream sundae, and now the whipped cream comes, and it's like the business makes sense. To your point, Mr. Arman, you talk about, if we understand if we put our resources into something like this can happen. And it's very reminiscent to me about when Title IX was first becoming a law. There were so many naysayers, and their argument was there's not enough girls who want to play.
Right.
And the rebuttal was, well, you're not giving them a place to play, so how can they sign up to play? And we've obviously debunked that myth about there aren't girls who want to play. Of course, there's girls everywhere across this country. We saw it just in the Women's World Cup in Sydney and New Zealand. This is the biggest Women's World Cup tournament ever, 32 teams, 8 countries for the first time, and they were good, and they were sometimes even better than good. They were pretty great. And so it exists everywhere. This is the time that I think everybody, why the reflection for me is, why is it happening now? It's for 2 reasons. One, there's just too many women playing. Too many women and girls playing, and all of those women and girls, and then some who didn't get to play, are unwilling to be quiet anymore. They're tired. They're exhausted. We don't want to have this anymore. We are here. We play. We need places. And there are fans who really enjoy celebrating that with us.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
look,
my short answer. That's my short answer.
That's your short answer. It's an incredibly short answer. I mean, look, let me summarize that. Like, you're basically saying, don't buy into the chicken and egg argument, right? Don't buy the chicken and egg, just do it, get it done. And that seems to be what's happening. You know, you both talked about the business of this and the level of professionalism. You know, I will mention that, you know, there is a pro volleyball federation that was formed at the end of November last year. You know, Carrie Walsh Jennings just, I think in June, was announced as a lead owner of that league. We're witnessing professional women's sports leagues blossoming, you know, on the crest of these waves that are happening, which is beautiful to see what happened yesterday. And Brandi, I know that, you know, unfortunately, it sounds like they broke a record that let's call it your record from the '99 World Cup by, I don't know, what, 1,000 people or something. But, you know, it's got to be amazing to play in front of that many people.
You know, I was watching, I happened to turn on sports news this morning on my television, and I paused it and I said to my husband, come in here, come and see this. He's like, what is it? You know, he coaches collegiate women's soccer. I said, look at what's happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, wow, that's, you know, and we both had a moment like, you know, he's been coaching collegiate soccer for 37 years. You know, I've been in soccer for nearly 50 years. And, you know, we've always believed that this would happen. And I just honestly, to your metaphor of the cresting of this wave, it's just wave upon wave, in my opinion. And it's not like, oh, that was a rogue wave that happened.
Right.
This is not a rogue wave. This is not an anomaly. This is present. This is viable. We're, again, going back to NWSL, but also to my good friend, Carrie Walsh, who also happened to be an alumni of the same high school as me. You know, I've been a big supporter of hers and a fan of hers for a long time. And, you know, she's been unwilling to yield her passion for women's volleyball. And thank goodness, because look at what happens. And so here we are. And now, you know, now we get to say, this is what we're talking about. When we can give the picture to the words, change happens. And that's what happened in 1999. Although, you know, sometimes it does take a little longer, but I honestly believe this time is different.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you know, you talk about new leagues, there's just a professional women's hockey league that was announced. It'll start with 6 teams starting in January 2024. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're going to see these record-breaking headlines continue to pop up week after week after week. In this Nebraska game, it was the largest crowd ever in the Nebraska stadium. We're talking men's football, men's events. It was a women's college volleyball
incredible
game. Like,
and it wasn't,
that,
and it
I
wasn't
think is such
for
a big statement.
And it wasn't for a World Cup. It wasn't for a national championship. It was between two local teams.
Totally.
And the beauty of that is, if you had asked people a week before that, hey, there's going to be 92,000 people in this stadium watching women's volleyball, they would have been like, what are you talking about?
What are you, crazy? Yeah.
It's amazing the different perspective they will have when they see it. Now, when they hear, hey, there's a big game going on, and they're going to be like, I got to get a ticket. I got to go. I got to be a part of this. And
totally.
I honestly believe, I mean, this is, listen, I'm not a business guru, but I do know this, that, you know, you have a well that is deep and rich and nobody's really dipped into it. Now, if I was a smart person, I would say, that looks like a resource that we could really tap into to do some really good work. We could, you know, a good business model in this environment has so much exponential room for growth when the other one is like this much room.
Well, I mean, you're fortunate that you got, you got guys like Alan Waxman and Sixth Street that I think have figured this out and believe that. And, hopefully we're going to continue to see more and more of that as we go on. But just an incredible moment. And I think one worth celebrating, one definitely worth this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Brandi. Really appreciate the time, and, go women's sports.
Absolutely. See you later, Two Shanes.
All right. See you, Brandi.